minutes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna read from it.
Well,
Yeah, we are. Well, there goes the soccer game.
yeah. And for what? Okay, there's nothing
Y'all ready?
Good evening. We want to welcome all our citizens and staff and fellow board members here tonight. I want to call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for May the 19th, 2026, promptly at 1900 hours. Fellow board members, we need to make a couple amendments to the agenda. The first one being Mr. Bryant will address a change under the consent agenda under item A for the minutes from our last board meeting. And also, I'd like to amend, we want to remove the closed session item that we had at the end of the meeting. Anyone have any other concerns or changes that need to be made? All right, if not, I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the noted changes.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's move forward. Let's open tonight, Mr. Pugh, if you could lead us in a prayer, and then I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance when we're done.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask that you be with all of those in our audience tonight. We especially ask you to be with those affected by the tragic wreck on Sunday night on Winesap Road. We ask that you be with those families and the people that were injured. Dear Lord, we also ask for your prayer and protection over our fire and EMS that has been really taxed these last few weeks with some terrible wrecks. We ask that you give them the strength and the courage to keep going and do their job to the best of their ability. We also ask for your knowledge and wisdom tonight as we go about the business of the county. May you give us the discernment and judgment to do the will of the people. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please direct your attention to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Pugh. At this time, we'll open the citizens' comment section. We've got 8 people that have signed up to speak. I will go to those in order, and then I'll open it up to anybody else that did not sign up that wants to approach the board with citizens' comment. I'm going to ask as you approach each, since we're probably going to have a fair amount of folks that want to speak tonight, we need to keep your comments to 3 minutes. Please approach with your name and your address and the district that you represent if you know it. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Pugh. Also, Mr. Pugh, if just remind you, if it's anybody that signed up that is wanting to speak in reference to any of the public hearings, we will take those comments when we open the public hearings after the citizens' comment section. So we're going to start. Ms. Pryor, I think you were first to sign up.
I did, but he would like to go first because he wants to get to the soccer game for his daughter.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Baggett?
My name is Sky Packett, 968 River Road, Madison Heights, and I guess I'm in District 4. Is that, yeah. I'm here tonight because I want to share with you all a petition that we're circulating currently. and it is a pretty simple request. We're asking that the board support us in requesting a zoning change for data centers from by right to special use permit. Campbell County just listened to their constituents last week and did the same thing. And there's a large group of us. I have just almost 700 signatures in a week right now that are really concerned about things being done behind our back. I've spoken with a couple of you, and it seems, I hate the term misinformation, but I view it as that because I know that there have been some expert panels presented to you all. I know a couple of you cited the AEP representative as the expert speaking. I think there's a lot more room for studies and information that's circulating around that is directly going to impact, a lot of people, the whole county. And while I know that the EDA is autonomous and really you have no oversight of them, which is a whole nother topic, I feel like if data centers are such a great and wonderful thing, that they shouldn't be, there's no reason to hide. Let's get it out in the public and get the public and the community involved. And I do have the petition y'all are welcome to sign, but we are asking for y'all to support your constituents and join us in requesting an immediate change in zoning from by right to special use permit. And again, I'm sure you all know Campbell County just did the same thing and listened to their constituents last week. Forgive me. I would be curious to know, and anybody's welcome to respond or not, if I'm incorrect, if there have been other expert panels presented to y'all or the leaders of this county other than data center representatives or AEP or Dominion or whoever they're going to be, NextEra now. I'm just very curious myself to know what is being presented to you all as opposed to what we're seeing, and we're seeing across the country. There's 12 states now that have asked for a moratorium against them until there can be any kind of real research done to see the long-term effects. And I think that we're at the same thing. So, before I go, anybody in here not support the data center in Amherst County? No data center? Support it or no? Raise hands. No. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And feel free to reach out if you want to sign that petition with us. I can
Sure.
get it to you immediately.
Ms. Sharon Ponton? I'm sorry, Ms. Breyer, I'll get you next. Ms. Ponton, go ahead while you're up. Sorry, we're up.
Hi, my name is Sharon Ponton, and I live over off Isaac Walton. I don't really know what district it is. I vote at the Lonco precinct. I was at one time an organizer, a community organizer, and I worked against the Atlantic Coast Pipeline when they tried to ram that through 6 years ago, about 6 years ago. These corporations claim to be friendly and they want to be your good neighbor and all of those kinds of things. And in the end, they tell you everything that you want to hear and nothing that you need to know. So I would ask that you be very concerned and careful about data centers and what they can do to our community and how they can use up the water resources and how the power. One of the reasons I believe that there's this merger that's going to happen between Dominion and NextEra is Dominion cannot produce enough electric generation for all of the data centers. And that's going to cost all of us. So I would ask you to consider those things when you're thinking about data centers and the request for the SUP. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Breyer?
Barbara Pryor, District 2. I made a statement, or my statement is based on the assumption that this is a deal that is moving forward. So, good evening, fellow citizens and board members. Planet Earth is truly the mother of us all. Planet Earth provides the air we breathe, the land that gives us substance, and a multitude of resources that allow life as we know it to exist. The deer and the antelope are not destroying it. Rather, it is a species that we hope can learn, process, and optimistically develop a sense of empathy for others. Each of us, men and women, contains somewhere between 45 and 60% water. Your blood is 83%, lungs 83%, brain and heart 73%, skin 64%, bones 31%. Native people have drilled it into us, and particularly me, water is life. Community water sources are being depleted by the greedy amount of water to cool data systems at current data sites. Cooling, humming noises are being heard in homes 6 miles away. Every day across the United States, we are learning about communities that are opposing the environmentally unsound, noisy, water-draining sites that I believe are being built for power and surveillance. Costly and intrusive flock cameras located in traffic lights here in Amherst County are very much a part of the new surveillance system. We are at the beginning of a struggle that pits the local Amherst community against an unseen, unheard power that only begins to show up in the shadows, apparently after decisions and plans are made for Amherst County, a perfect slice of Virginia. You, as members of the Board of Supervisors, were elected to represent the needs of the community at large, not environmental destruction or big government surveillance and control. The struggle for power and control by an elite few affects all of us, no matter what's one's personal views. We, as the moral face of humanity, must join in making a better world for our grandchildren and all future generations. Respectfully, I believe this requires you as leaders to take a bold step and vote against any data centers in Amherst County and include in our county code that no data centers are allowed. And I respect that, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Robin Smith. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Robin Smith, and I live a little past Elon, which I believe puts me in District 2. 3, sorry. I know you're my representative, but I can't remember the district. Okay. I would like to start by saying I respectfully request that you support the citizens who are here tonight and change the zoning for the tract of land on Kings Road from at right to whatever else it would be. So there could be a discussion about what is going to go in there. The thing I find probably the most egregious of anything is that in a democracy, in this democracy, which is supposed to be by the people, for the people, and of the people, a county board has signed a non-disclosure agreement and will not release any information about what is going in there. And that blows my mind that you all seem okay with that. We need to know what's going in there, what their plans are, so we can discuss it. And maybe if we knew, we wouldn't be against it. But because we don't know, we can only assume there's something going on that we wouldn't like and you don't want us to know about. And while I understand the EDA is independent, you all have appointed them. So the responsibility is ultimately yours for what their decision is. So that's my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I think this is Teresa, maybe, but, okay.
Good evening. My name's Teresa Allman. I live at 700 Burgess Road. I'm in District 3. First of all, I just wanted to start off with there are so many unknowns about the lasting effects of data centers on the quality of life we all enjoy. The ones that we do know about, I will just list the few that we've all seen on the internet, but now I haven't heard anybody talk about it, except Barbara took some of my talking points, I think. But anyway, data centers have they use massive amounts of energy, they drain the power grids, and they raise the utility rates for many people. They require high levels of water usage for cooling. The wastewater they leave behind is highly contaminated, polluting local water sources and aquatic ecosystems. The high levels of EMF radiation cause harm to all living beings around them, plants, animals, and people. They cause significant rise in the surface temperatures ranging from 3 degrees to 16, temperatures increasing are detectable up to 6 miles away. They create noise pollution for large cooling fans. They create light pollution from all-night lighting. Harmful effects of air pollution are produced by their diesel backup generators and power emergencies. So that's what we do know about so far, but there's so many unknowns. My husband and I, we moved here to Amherst County in 1997. We put roots down. We raised our family here. We worked 29 years to build a legacy for our family. I really feel like I'm in a movie right now. I can't believe I have to stand here and ask you to protect the quality of life that we all enjoy in Amherst County. We have entities consisting of people we don't know making decisions for us that will have lasting effects on the quality of our lives for decades. I would like to request a moratorium on any plans concerning a data center or any other industries that would affect the ecosystem until there is more information and the public has a chance to have a voice in the plans. After all, we have been promoting Amherst County as a perfect slice of Virginia. So that was my statement. So, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jim Vasquez?
Good evening. My name is Jim Vasquez, and I live in Elon. That makes me in District 3. So, once again, I'm here to talk to this board about this wedding venue in our neighborhood, loud, obnoxious, and there have been continuing and worsening online accusations, vituperations, incitements, and hate. I rise today to once again request that this board revoke the special exception granted to the Three Oaks Manor on Phyllis Lee Drive. And I know you guys talked about this in a private session with the lawyers. We heard all the outcome of that. As you know, the code allows the board to revoke based on changes in condition. There now exists a change in condition, and that change is a danger to the public safety posed by the venue owners. The owners threaten neighbors, they incite criminal behavior, and they dox citizens and board members with impunity. It's incumbent upon you, the members of this board, individually and severally, to acknowledge that the behavior of these owners is inconsistent with the values that we hold dear. The owners make a habit of traveling a Virginia state route in a golf cart with children in danger, hurling vituperative harangues at the neighbors. She's encouraged persons online to take action on behalf of her against the neighbors. And the board has knowledge of this, and the board has made no effort to reach out to them and ask them to curtail that behavior. There's been encouragement. I did that. Furthermore, the public at large and her own minor children are in danger by this operation of a golf cart, which is somehow part of this venue. She operates the golf cart on a public route. If you're on Phyllis Lee and you're traveling south towards that stop sign, that's a blind stop sign. You come over a hill, you cannot see who's walking a dog, you can't see who's standing there doing whatever in the road, and you surely cannot see a low-profile golf cart as you come over that hill. And if you've traveled that road, you know people come up to that stop sign 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. It's not unheard of for people to come by there at a high rate of speed. This is a danger to all of us, because whoever tries to flip their car not to kill this family in their golf cart, they're now in danger. We've all witnessed and experienced this board's courage in the past. I mean, you guys, a 17% increase in our taxes, courageous. You have the power to send a very clear message to this type of interloper. Follow the county lines, county laws, follow the ordinances, or pay a steep price. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Lisa Jonas?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Lisa Jonas. I live at 677 Kings Road in Madison Heights, Virginia. So I'm going back to the potential data centers that could have been proposed or might be being proposed to the tract on Kings Road and Dillard Road. So this is my statement here. We moved to Madison Heights from downtown Lynchburg 8 years ago. We were looking for a quieter life, some space closer to nature, somewhere we could raise our children, have a garden, and have some chickens. We found a spot off Elon Road, but we were still close to the highway and waited for something else to open up. Driving Dillard, Kings, and River Road to Lynchburg every day, we have hoped that we would find something closer to town, but still felt like the country and living in nature. Finally, 4 years ago, we had a lead. This spring, we finished our renovations on our house, and that we have been pouring ourselves into. We share land with our brothers, and we are surrounded by neighbors we call friends. Just down the road, off Old 97, we got married 15 years ago. We care about this community deeply. Our boys are now the age where they can camp out, explore the woods and the creek. We've been busy putting in gardens and raising bees. To think we arrived just in time for the clearing of a beautiful 500+ acres of wooded land down the road. Big trucks coming in and out off our quiet road, decimating the beauty that surrounds us. We have found arrowheads, atlatl spear points dating back 6,000 years on that land, a stark reminder of how far we've come from truly living in nature and the land, to now stripping it of its beauty and depleting it of anything and everything that has to satisfy our appetites. The sad reality of this has been set into motion. It gapes at us, reminding us of what is coming. But this is a small part of the story. We are but one family of many. Virginia leads the country with operational, developing, and planned facilities exceeding 600. Do we know how many creatures other than humans we're affecting by producing these data centers? Even the tiny bee, who is responsible for pollinating the plants that feed us, are threatened by the climate change, habitat destruction, electromagnetic fields, and the sensory pollution that these data centers create. So what are our long-term goals here? Jobs for the community? Beautifying the county? Are we thinking about the future generations or just what we can get out of the earth today? Will our one plot on earth make a difference? Well, if no one speaks up, if everyone just folds for the immediate profit, what earth will be left for those future generations? What happens here matters because we are not just in it for ourselves and our direct community. We are part of a greater whole of humanity and beyond that, nature and its ecosystems. We have a unique role in taking care of the planet, and if we set this precedent here today, maybe together we can empower other communities to do the same. We are asking that you allow us to have a voice in the future of our children, our community, and our land. If this is set into motion, it may force the people of the community off of their land because of the lack of water, resources, air, and light pollution.
Ms. Jones, your time's up, ma'am.
Thank you for your consideration. Those are the ends of my statement.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, that's everybody that signed up. Anybody else wishing to speak during the citizens' comment section? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. If you guys came in late, just state your name, your address, and the district. If you know
Absolutely.
which one you live in.
I'm Ashley Kubik Jacobs. We live at 777 Kings Road, Madison Heights. We bought our property, I don't know what district we're in because we just moved this past summer. It's right off of Kings Road, and we invested a great investment in our property. We also have children planning on having a farm, animals, and we're very concerned about the effect on our property value, on the environment, on the noise pollution, the water pollution, all of it. So we're just here to hear what can be done and how we can also have our voice heard.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Becky Henry, and I live at 138 Old 97 Way, Madison Heights, Virginia. I do not know which district that's in, but I am also speaking to the potential interest of a data center on Kings Road. From a Amherst County standpoint, I know that the median age is increasing. The age of people that are working within the tax bracket of income tax is lowering, and I just feel like as a county, it would be more beneficial for us to instead go with a data center that would, be a big hit all at once, but then long term, it's not going to be a financial stability or vitality for the county versus if you were to do something like a manufacturing factory or something like that that would have less of an environmental impact but also would provide more stable jobs. You would have just over the course of the time, there would just be, I think, more financial interest as a county. So we're just asking that you would hear us and partner with us in rezoning that property so that we can have a say and we can have awareness. I am currently pregnant. I have a few children. And if a data center goes in, we will likely have to move. I mean, if you look at the reports online of increased cancer, they increase cardiovascular, respiratory disease, miscarriage, and as a nurse, I can speak to the fact that when you have long-term chronic illnesses, you are increasing your the payment tenfold. It'll be billions in the future of just tearing up people's health, the environment, as well as we just had our land assessed and our taxes raised, and then we're looking at possibly drying up our wells, increased utility bills, and this is all reported well. There's data for this as you research it, and it's pretty scary when you look at the anecdotal evidence of the people that actually live near these data centers and are being impacted by them. And so, I just hope as a county we can honor the residents and the community and work together. We want what's best for Amherst. We don't want to prevent industry. We don't want to prevent revenue for the city, but we think that there's better ways we could go about it. And
Thank you. Anyone else wanted to speak during the citizens' comment section? Anyone else wanted to speak? All right, citizens' comment section is closed. All right, let's move on to the first public hearing for the VDOT Rural Rustic 6-year road plan. Mr. Brown, I think you're up. Thank you for being here tonight, Daniel.
Sure. Good evening. All right, so we've got the Rural Rustic 6-year plan for 2027 through 2028. And I think y'all have a copy of that in y'all's packet. Just a couple updates. Kentmore Farm Road and Walnut Springs Road, those are finished up. We just got to close the books on them, financial books. And West Monitor, that will be finished up here. They're going to start on that after July when we get on the new budget year. Getty's Mountain, that one, we are getting ready to get funding verification on that and plan on having that completed before fall because we don't want to get done in the end of the year and not have that done. And one other item that I'll mention, Indian Creek, that one, we're gonna have that one ready to go next calendar year. So And then the rest of them is just, have been added over time as they've come in. And if there's any questions about any of that, I'll be happy to answer them.
So,
Chairman?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, so looking at some of these other ones below Indian Creek, and, I mean, it's my opinion, I don't know what about other board members, but Indian Creek, we could probably bump that on down to the
No, we
bottom.
can't. Oh, no, we
I
can't.
knew we would get her attention.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. In the event after Indian Creek is done, because some of the rest of those are like, just .2, I mean, really short section of road, if any funds, will you guys evaluate those during the FY '27 budget year?
Yes.
Okay.
What we'll do is we'll just keep, we keep that list active, and we do our field work and stuff. And, if there's an opportunity to, move on with another one.
Okay.
We kind of try to keep some of them on the
I got
shelf,
you. Okay.
active and ready to go, just in case.
Thank you, sir.
Get a little
Ms.
time
Tucker.
on the books.
It's a little friendly agitation, Ms. Tucker, a little friendly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on Indian Creek Road, just so I can tell the folks that live up there, you say that in the calendar year, so do you anticipate the first part of 2027 or December of 2027, or do you know?
We'll probably get going on that right after weather breaks in the springtime. Sometimes, I won't get into it too deep, but sometimes the budget with our maintenance budget kind of pushes us off on this kind of work. So we're able to switch our guys to that to get us to the end of the budget year. So I won't say that it won't happen in the spring, but it'll definitely be done next year. It may start after July, but it'll certainly be done before winter.
Okay,
Next
thank you.
calendar year.
Mr. Pugh, Mr. Campbell?
No questions.
All right. No other questions from the board members. We're going to open the public hearing for the VDOT Rural Rustic 6-year road plan. Anyone from the audience wishing to speak in favor of the Rural Rustic 6-year plan, you can please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of? All right. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the 6-year road plan? No opposition? All right. We'll close the public hearing. Fellow board members, what's your pleasure? So, Mr. Brown, this is the same information that other Mr. Brown has already provided to us, and so this is the second reading for us, so.
In April.
Yeah, that's right. Ms. Tucker, do you have a
I'm
question?
trying. Computer was slow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will move that the board approve the priority list ranking as proposed and amended. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the VDOT Rural Rustic 6-year road plan. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Campbell, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, yes.
We don't need a second.
Oh, that's right, we don't, Mr. Pugh. Thank you. I was trying to be very thorough. So that has been approved. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for coming.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the second public hearing, conditional rezoning with 2026-062 Believable. Mr. Creasy, all yours.
Yeah, Chairman, Board, good to see you all tonight. Nixon Land and Surveying, on behalf of the property owner, has submitted an application requesting conditional rezoning of approximately 1.7 acres located at 138 and 124 Cedar Gate Road from B2 General Commercial to R2 General Residential. The purpose of the request is to allow the construction of 2 new single-family dwellings and allow 2 existing single-family dwellings to function as conforming uses within the R2 General Residential District. The proposed development would subdivide the property into 4 residential lots that you can see before you, including the 2 existing homes and 2 new lots. The conceptual plan shows the proposed lot layout and access from Cedar Gate Road. The request also includes amendment to the county's future land use map of the comprehensive plan to change the land use designation from commercial and low-density residential to medium-density residential. In addition to the rezoning of approximately 1.7 acres, approximately 0.429 acres will be left B2. And so there could be potential development here. And to get your bearings in line to figure out where we're at, I'm going to switch over to the GIS. So you might recall there's a large house right at the intersection of Cedar Gate Road and Route 29. It's derelict. And so the property owner is looking to restore this house. And actually, in order to do so without having a business use attached to it, they would need to go through a rezoning. So that's a non-conforming use in our B2 district. A non-conforming use is allowed to continue so long as it has not elapsed for 2 years. Well, if you're familiar with this property, no one's lived in that house for 2 years. So in order for this to receive a building permit, change of use, and all that good stuff, this rezoning would need to happen. And so as part of that rezoning, they're also proposing to subdivide off a few lots. So as you can see here to the north, where my cursor is Route 29 that we just saw. Down here is that intersection of Cedar Gate Road and 29. Here's that corner lot that I spoke to you about 0.4 acres that's going to be left B2. Then you have the existing house and the 3 other lots. There is an existing 20-foot joint use outlet road with its plat information detailed here. So that back lot up here, even though it technically doesn't have road frontage on Cedar Gate, it does meet our minimum subdivision requirements with its frontage on South Amherst Highway. However, the access for that lot will be off of Cedar Gate Road. Moving on to the surrounding area. So with the map, I'll pull up our zoning map so you got an idea of everything around you. So I'll zoom out a little bit. As you're familiar with, all of our commercial property is typically along South Amherst Highway. So you can see to the north, it's Zone B2. If I take off this layer so you got an idea of where we're at, this lot right here is the new My Fitness. And then right up the road, you of course have the Parks and Rec building as well as a church. And then when I pull the zoning map layer back up, as you move into Cedar Gate Road, all of the properties are zoned R2 general residential, and across the road is vacant property, also zoned R2. The reason this is a conditional rezoning is that there has been a proffer submitted by the applicant. You probably recall we cannot require proffers, they must be voluntarily submitted. The one submitted by them is that the applicant shall complete a subdivision plat that substantially matches the site plan submitted for the rezoning application dated November 26, 2025, and signed December 19th, 2025. And the reason for that is to sort of lock down the property owner to ensure that single-family dwellings are going to be built. With R2 zoning, you can have up to a quadplex by right. With this proposed plat, due to the acreage being reduced with each lot, a quadplex cannot be proposed there, so it'd have to be a single-family dwelling. Moving on to the comprehensive plan. So through a rezoning, the request requires a future land use map amendment, which should be evaluated for consistency with our plan. Right now, and so this is kind of an odd situation, I would say. So when I pull up the future land use map, you'll notice this light yellow, that is our low density. And if I zoom out so you got a better understanding, this tan is actually medium density, which corresponds to R2. However, when we switch off of the future land use map and then go back to zoning, you have all R2 around you. So it's in a way may be considered a spot zoning of our future land use map, but not of our existing zoning map. Because the medium density residential corresponds with the R2 in the general vicinity. So staff wanted to bring that to your attention. Medium-density residential areas generally support moderate-density single-family housing, duplexes, and as I mentioned, quadplexes by right, and suburban residential development where transportation access and infrastructure are available. Because the property currently contains residential uses and is surrounded by residential development along Cedar Gate Road, the proposed amendment would bring the future land use map into closer alignment with the existing land use patterns or what zoning and is going on there now. The subject property is located within an area that already contains single-family dwellings, as mentioned, going down Cedar Gate Road, residential lots along there, as well as commercial uses closer to US Route 29 corridor. And that's one of the reasons that they've left that 0.4 acres zone commercial right at the intersection of Cedar Gate Road and Route 29. Moving on to the zoning analysis, this is the one thing you got to take into account with this change. So our B2 general commercial district allows for retail establishments, service businesses, and highway-oriented commercial development. The proposed change is for single-family dwellings, residential subdivisions, and moderate-density residential developments. Rezoning to R2 would allow the existing homes to become conforming uses and permit the construction of 2 additional dwellings. Rezoning to R2 would reduce the likelihood of commercial development. So that's one thing to take into account. This request was sent off to VDOT as well as the Surface Authority and Emergency Services. All of the access is proposed off of Cedar Gate Road, which connects to US Route 29. Staff does not believe the 2 additional residential units with the existing would have a significant impact for traffic conditions. Public water is available and will service the properties, and each lot will utilize a private septic system. So if I flip back over to our map, as you can see here, they've got drain fields out here on the proposed lots. And then the site can be served by existing fire, rescue, and law enforcement agencies, and there should be no issue with fire access. And the last thing, staff findings, the property already contains residential uses as indicated. They are non-conforming and can no longer continue to be non-conforming. So using those structures as houses is no longer available with its current zoning designation. So therefore, the rezoning would allow the existing residential uses to become conforming and permit modest residential development. The proposed R2 zoning district is consistent with nearby residential properties and uses compatible with surrounding residential development. While the request requires a future land use amendment, the proposed change would align with the existing residential character of the area, and the development is expected to have minimal impact on public facilities or services. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this request to you all. That recommendation, as well as the proffer, can be found in your item summary, and at this time, do you have any questions for staff?
Fellow board members. All right. Thank you, Mr. Creasy. Mr. Nixon.
Good evening, Chairman.
Good evening.
Board of Supervisors, I'm Russ Nixon with Nixon Land Surveying. I want to thank you all for allowing me to present this proposal to you for Believe a Build LLC. David Jagger is the owner of that business. He purchased this property several years ago, and it was blighted at the time. It was unoccupied and had fallen into the now category of non-conforming. His intent was to initially look at several different projects that he could put here commercially. He initially wanted to put in some type of an automotive center at some point, put in an auto sales business, something like that, or turn it into some type of commercial use. Unfortunately, this area of Amherst County does not have any kind of sanitary sewer access provided by Amherst County Service Authority. And it would make it unaffordable for him to try to go through with a commercial development. He then contacted myself. We looked at and he inspected and got some inspectors in on the homes, discovered that the homes can be renovated and revitalized, and that is what his intent is. He also came to me and we discussed, we've been working on this project for several years, but at the same time last year in November, we talked about how we can move forward and help him put in residential homes on it, and it meets something that Amherst County would like. We did the necessary work to come up with a proposed drain fields for the 2 new sites. We even designed new drain fields for the existing home and a drain field for the commercial property. That will remain our B2. We do have primary and reserve areas for each lot that we are designing. We also have enough area to construct a minimum of a 1,200 square foot home on each lot. We've proven that with staff's request, and we hope we can make this into a nice little development. I recognize, I'm from Campbell County, and I do a lot of these presentations, and it's always kind of a weird situation for me when I go into a hearing and we're going from business or B2 down to a residential use. In this situation, though, you've got homes across the street with kids, with families that rent and/or own those homes. Having a for-sale auto center or some type like that in this location, in my opinion, would not be a great use for that property because of the amount of traffic for these residential homes across the street. This development would reduce the amount of traffic to this property for this use. Discussing everything with VDOT, discussing things with Tyler, it just seemed like a good fit, and that's why we're here requesting this. We did try and want to appease you all by leaving the B2 at the corner. At some point in time in the future, maybe sanitary sewer will become available here, and that's the hope, and they can build some type of a small convenience store, some type of use that's by right in the B2 district. I'm here and available for any questions you may have, and I appreciate your time.
Russ, if you could, I may get Tyler back up here as well.
Okay.
Because I was at the planning commission meeting, and none of the planning commissioners really, there was really no questions that came up about this, but just a couple things, just because this is in my district, I just wanted to ask about, and Tyler, I'm not sure if it's going to be more directed toward you or to Russ, but would that be two on the corner right there? Because it looks like the only things that we left is .429 acres for B2, correct? Am I reading that right? So even in the future, if public sewer was provided there, and based on where the proposed locations for the new structure is going to be, would they be able to meet setbacks to be able to put a commercial structure in that small of a space?
Yeah, it would depend on what kind of structure it is, but yeah, so in our B2 district, you would have a 25-foot setback off of those R2 lots proposed to be rezoned, and then technically your front yard is going to be the shortest road frontage width. And in this case, that's going to be Cedar Gate Road is my understanding. So with that, they're not going to technically have a setback to South Amherst Highway. They could build right up to that property line, being a corner lot.
Okay.
So there would be plenty of room, of course, on a large commercial development, but yes, you could definitely probably get something smaller in there.
All right, and Tyler, I know you stated as far as one of the structures, but Russell, they plan on renovating both of those structures, the old one right there on the corner, the old two-story, and the one that's standing at 136?
Yes,
or
sir.
138?
Yes, they are.
Okay. That's going to be a miraculous renovation.
Yes, sir, it is. I've seen it and I know it, yes.
Yeah, and that'll be a welcome change right there. Fellow board members, any other questions for Mr. Creasy or Mr. Nixon? All right, is the applicant, is Mr. Jagger here tonight?
Not here, sir.
Okay, all right, so, Mr. Nixon, I appreciate it, and we'll see if we have any more questions for you after the public hearing. All right, at this time, we'll open the public hearing for conditional rezoning 2026-062 Believable. And based on everything everyone's heard so far tonight, is there anyone wanting to speak in favor of this request? Anyone willing to speak in favor of? All right, last call for anyone wanting to speak in favor of. All right, anyone wanting to speak in opposition to? Anyone in opposition? All right, we're going to close public hearing on conditional rezoning 2026-062. Fellow board members, any other questions or concerns? All right, based on that, it is in my district, so I'm going to make the motion that we approve conditional rezoning 2026-062 Believable with the submitted proffers. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, 4-0. Thank you. Next on here is the CDBG block grant. Jafredo? Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good to see the board. My name is Jafredo Granger, and I am with the Central Virginia Planning District Commission. We're providing consulting and grant management services for the county for the application. The county is seeking to put in an application for CDBG grant funding through the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development for community improvements in the South Madison Heights community. The goal is to apply and receive CDBG funding to improve infrastructure through a multi-phase comprehensive project in the South Madison Heights community. And we intend to provide infrastructure repairs by way of providing waived sewer connection fees, which is usually around average cost of $6,000 to participating homes in the defined project area with future phases, including possible sidewalks and streetlight improvements. In March of 2024, the county was awarded a comprehensive planning grant through DHCD to find areas of most need in the South Madison Heights area. Through those coordinated efforts of canvassing, community meetings with staff members, neighborhood and community volunteers, and nearly 132 surveys submitted, the Site B project area, which is in your pamphlets there, within the infrastructure PER and its potential beneficiaries were identified as the area of focus, with the highest need being dictated as the public infrastructure. A smaller, more focused project area is being finalized and will include portions of Lakeland Circle, Hilltop Drive, Greenfield Drive, that are still relying on septic systems near the proposed B4 and B5 sewer extensions. The service area footprint has also been expanded to include septic-dependent homes in the B3 area along Laurel Drive and Garfield Road near the proposed B3 sewer extension. There is no CDBG activities planned or anticipated in this project that will result in a displacement of any community members. The funding to be requested by Amherst County will not to exceed $2 million, which is the maximum. And currently no additional funding or leverage sources have been identified to support the project activities. Of the funding, it is expected that nearly 80% of the award will be used to benefit low to moderate income persons. A more exact number will be determined at a later stage in our application and during our second public hearing. The Community Development Block Grant Program is a competitive program offered through the Virginia Department of Housing, Community Development for the purpose of providing community improvements in areas that have at least 51% of the residents living in the area defined as low to moderate income, which is specifically defined as persons that are 80% below the median income. Should funding become available, it would be available to income eligible families that own or rent their main dwelling located within the project area. This program is very competitive with localities from across the country, from across the state, applying for these funds on behalf of smaller communities and neighborhoods. DHCD typically has between 18 to 19 million in competitive grants, but they receive more than $50 million worth of grant applications. So it is a very competitive process. So one of the things that definitely will help us stand out would be community leaders in having interest, having support, and then also having the completed participation agreements as part of the program. That would be key factors for us securing that particular funding. So right now, we invite any public comments or input from the citizens of the county, and specifically those of the project area during this first public hearing tonight. And then also we have a second public hearing scheduled for June 9th at the Madison Heights Elementary School. And the application deadline is July 1st, so between now and then, we're fielding all comments. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jafredo. Fellow board members, y'all have any questions for?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
how many homes right now are not connected to sewer in the Lakeview subdivision?
I believe, just from my counts, from what I was able to pull from GIS, is about 50 to 60 that is not generally connected within the project area that we have. I think it is some more maybe on the other side. Right now, let me see.
Mr. Costello, why don't you step up here, please, sir?
Thank you. But I know for the particular project area we're looking at for the B3, B4, and B5 areas, it's about 50. So I know we still also have the second side, B1 and B2, but that's not included with this particular project area. So from my count, it was around 50 to 60 homes, and so it could be more. I would say probably another 25 to 30, but you have this. Okay.
So do you have like 100% participation from the,
As you're aware, this is an older neighborhood, and the septic systems are reaching their end of their useful life, which means they're going to be failing. So it's very timely to put this project into motion so we can start addressing this before it becomes a real environmental issue.
I'm sorry, Mr. Campbell.
Go ahead.
Is there any documented failures at this point yet, Mr. Costello?
I'm not aware of any, but I can reach out to our health department and get
Okay.
the data.
So what's the age of that infrastructure up in Lakeview? When was that subdivision developed? In the 50s?
60s.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the average age.
It's 43. The average age of the septic.
What did you say, Jafreda?
I said the average age of the septics are 43.
43 years old.
43 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been some that have failed and have been repaired or replaced, and that brings the average down.
Okay.
But there's a number living on borrowed time.
So with the proposed 2 million CDBG grant, how much upgrades would this encapsulate pretty much the entire subdivision as far as the upgrading goes?
I would say 50-60% of the.
60%, 50-60%?
Of
Okay.
the neighborhood, yes.
Okay. What would be your plan for the remainder, Mr. Costello?
Plan is to utilize the planning grant that we do and the PER that we have and expand on for the next cycle.
Next grant cycle?
And
Okay.
then also bring in some other needed improvements. Sidewalks have been mentioned, streetlights have been mentioned in there, road extension so they have a secondary access, because everything funnels out through the bottom of that neighborhood,
Right.
as you're aware.
Yeah.
And so if there's an emergency, particularly during a flooding issue, those folks are stuck.
Yeah. That's always been an issue down at bottom. All right. Fellow board members, any other questions for Mr. Costello or Jafreda?
no, sir.
All right. Do we need to,
Information.
Yeah, it's just for information. We don't need to have it, but we need to open a public hearing for it. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so for the citizens, just understand, this was for informational purposes. We'll second reading on this, as Jafredo stated, but we do need to open a public hearing to hear from any citizens' comment citizens' comment input for this proposed infrastructure upgrade. So at this point in time, we'll open the public hearing for anyone wanting to speak in favor of this project in Lakeview subdivision. Yes, sir. You can come forward. Please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Richard Jordan, and Dixie Airport Road, Madison Heights. I also own property in Lakeview subdivision. And as he has pointed out, there's over 100 houses in that subdivision, but only one entrance. And that entrance is along Williams Run, which can get very, very high. But years ago, there was another entrance, and that has now been closed off. So I am fully in support of a second entrance to the Lakeview subdivision. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jordan. Anyone else wanting to speak in favor of the proposed infrastructure upgrades? All right, hearing and seeing none. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to? Anyone in opposition to? All right, we're closing the public hearing. All right, so fellow board members, this is for informational purposes only. Any other questions or comments or concerns while we got Mr. Costello or Jafredo here? All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
One
Mr.
more
Costello.
little point.
Yes, sir.
We have a great team putting this all together, and Leslie Sprouse of your staff is definitely an important member of that team.
Thank you. We always appreciate Ms. Sprouse and her grant writing capabilities. She's trying to hide back there, I believe, but yeah, she is. But we always appreciate all of her hard work. So thank you all for your work on this, and we'll look forward to hearing more in the near future. Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Mr. Bryant, will you address the amended changes under A for the minutes of May the 5th that was brought to your attention?
Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing that up. Mr. Campbell at the May 5th meeting did bring up looking into offering a discount for those who pay taxes early. The consensus was of the board to give the county attorney direction to look into that matter. We're asking that that language be put in and amended in those minutes.
Okay. Fellow board members, any other questions, concerns about the consent agenda? All right, we have a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda
All right, we
with
have
the
a
amendments made.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tucker, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the amendments made.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda is approved. All right, next is a special presentation, Resolution 2026-9-R, and this is for the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society 50th anniversary. This is pretty exciting. So, who do we have here? Is Octavia here? Oh, there she is. You weren't even hiding, Octavia, but I still didn't see you behind Tracy right there. So, I'm sorry? Yeah, please, both of you guys, please come up, please. So what we're going to do is I have a resolution to present to the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society, and I'll come down and read that here in just a moment and present this to both of you. But I want to say on behalf of myself, and the other board members will comment in a moment, we really appreciate all the hard work from the museum. It's a lot of positive stuff that comes out of there, and it seems like more and more involvement and learning the history. It's funny, when I was younger, I've lived here all my life, I really didn't care about the history of Amherst County, right? But now as I've aged and learning more about history and hearing the tales and the stuff that has come along with the heritage of Amherst County, it's pretty special. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing to protect that heritage of Amherst County. Fellow board members?
I support what you've said, and I have gotten so much enjoyment, as has our community, with the events that y'all have done here, like a look back at Clifford and a look back, although they're just wonderful. It just brings, 150 years ago back to life. Thank you.
Mr. Pugh and Mr. Campbell, anything? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Oh, well, I'll just say I haven't utilized the museum as much as I should have. I know you all put on a lot of interesting historical, looking up genealogy or whatever it may be, stories of the past. So I appreciate what you do. I'm a student of history, so anytime you can bring back what happened previous years and realize how far that we've come and how much easier we actually have it now compared to, say, 100 years ago. It's amazing. I think we take that for granted each and every day. On a day like today, when it's 93 degrees outside, there was no place to go, to get cool unless you jumped in a creek. There was no place to put your freezer or anything like that. You had an ice box. So just some of those things kind of, I'm intrigued by thinking that how your ancestors used to live and how tough they really were to make it through all that they did.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. What would one have to do to have historical items on display in the museum?
We can have someone ask if they, in most cases, we'll ask ourselves, we're looking for something and we may know that so-and-so has it, and we'll approach them for a loan, and we'll put, the items that we're looking for an exhibit on loan. And in fact, we have a permanent loan, which is sort of unusual, of a number of arrowheads that are on loan at this time. And then other people bring things to us, which I'll tell you about in my report a little bit later. So, you know, if you have something and you're interested in wanting an exhibit, you know, come see us and we'll see what we can do.
I have been heard at some World War II items.
Oh.
And, it's a shame to let them sit around.
Yeah,
And,
and you just missed our Century of War exhibit, and we borrowed a number of things from the community for that exhibit. So, but it'll come around again.
okay, thank you.
So if you guys, I'm gonna sit here and read this where I can be at the mic, and then I'll come down and present this to you and Mike, if you don't mind. So this is a resolution number 2026-9-R, a resolution recognizing the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society's 50th anniversary, and this is approved as to form by the county attorney. Be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Amherst, Virginia, that the Amherst County Board of Supervisors recognizes the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society's 50th anniversary from 1976 to 2026 as follows. Whereas on October the 2nd, 1974, a group of individuals led by Sweetbriar College graduate and a local resident, Sherry Sneed McLeroy, met to make plans for a museum for Amherst County history. And whereas in March of 1976, the Amherst County Historical Museum was incorporated, opening in the old jail to the public on May the 30th, 1976, with Sherry Sneed McLeroy as the founding director and a governing executive board. And whereas in 1987, with the assistance of the Amherst County Women's Club, the Kerfoot Wood House of 154 South Main Street was purchased, with renovations made to contain the growing collections, archives, exhibits, and programming, and opening to the public on June the 7th, 1992. Whereas in April 1998, the museum board voted to change its name to the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society. And whereas the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society has continued to grow by effectively promoting its mission to discover, collect, and preserve objects related to the history and genealogy of Amherst County, and to its exhibit, interpret, and offer those collections to provide educational experience for people of all ages. And whereas the Museum and Historical Society has consistently valued the county's history, treasured landmarks, and the genealogy of the people who have lived here, and whereas the citizens and the descendants of Amherst County since the county's establishment in 1761 by an act of the Virginia General Assembly are grateful for the museum's 50 years of hard work and dedication preserving the past and telling Amherst County stories. And whereas on May the 30th, 2026, Amherst County residents and friends will gather at the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society to celebrate its 50th year of dedication to collecting and preserving the history and genealogy of Amherst County. And now therefore be it resolved that the Amherst County Board of Supervisors, let me read this correctly, that the Board of Supervisors of Amherst County recognizes the immense value and longstanding service of the Amherst County Museum and Historical Society to the people, culture, and sense of community within Amherst County. Be it further resolved that the Amherst Board of Supervisors expresses its utmost appreciation and most grateful heartfelt thanks for the 50 years of service the Amherst County Historical Museum and Historical Society is dedicated to Amherst County. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the Amherst County Board of Supervisors is directed to prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation at the Museum and Historical Society's commemorative celebration as an expression of the county's appreciation for its services. That this resolution shall be enforced and effect upon adoption, adopted this May the 19th of 2026. Yes. Oh, what are we doing? Oh. So, Board, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution 2026-9-R.
All right, thank you, Mr. Campbell. We have a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations, and again, thank you guys for everything you do. All right, on to Mr. Bryant.
Yes, sir. The board's being asked to appoint a District 1 member to the Planning Commission. There's currently a vacancy in that district that is expiring August the 31st of 2028. Staff advertised the vacancy in the New Era Progress on April the 2nd, and then with the closing date of April the 27th. We did receive a letter of interest from Robert Baxter on April the 7th. At our last meeting, you had asked us to reach out to Mr. Baxter and have him come here to our meeting tonight, and he's here. So
Okay.
thank you, Mr. Baxter, for being here.
Absolutely. All right, fellow board members, are there any questions or concerns before we get started? So just for the people watching in YouTube land and that are here, even though we only have one applicant, we have tried to stick to our a plan and being consistent when we have citizens apply for commissions and boards and committees for the county, that we are consistent across the board and get everyone's input to where people, the community can see what our folks that have applied for these positions, see what they have to offer to these committees, because we can't express our appreciation enough for anybody that wants to give of their time for any board or commission or committee for Amherst County. So I can't say enough about that. Mr. Baxter, would you come forward, please? So first, I'll give you the opportunity to say a few things about yourself, and then the four of us will have a few questions to ask of you, if you don't mind, sir.
No problem. Good evening, board. I'm Bob Baxter, Robert Baxter officially. I've been in Amherst County since 2001. I went to Penn State, graduated with a bachelor's and master's in nuclear engineering. I've been employed at Framatome since January of 1999. So my background's been supporting the commercial nuclear industry, working for Framatome for 27 years. The last 19 years I've been at various levels of engineering management and have had an immense amount of leadership training and other things that go along with that. I was on the board of directors at Winton Country Club a few years before the sale, and then through the sale I saw it go through to Waukesha Development. And since then, I had a few years off, and I have been volunteer coaching for the Amherst County High School golf team, and this will be my 4th year of that as my daughter graduates this coming year, and then I'll move on to watching her play collegiately. So right now, I've gained a lot of experience through my work with evaluating very carefully complex issues, communicating with customers, balancing long-term planning along with practical day-to-day realities. So my career I've spent working in roles that require organization, accountability, and problem solving. And so I think I can bring that to this role.
All right, thank you, Mr. Baxter. So you took care of question number one. And you've pretty much answered number two, but anything else you want to expand on? Question two is, what experience would you bring that would demonstrate an understanding of the potential impacts, both positive and negative, of land development? For example, environmental aesthetics, economics, community services, transportation, stormwater drainage, parking, etc.
So my experience working commercially, development decisions affect far more than just a single property. Good planning, it impacts infrastructure, traffic flow. We have a really great recent example with Framatome. You've all probably seen the announcement that our building on Old Forest Road has gone up for sale. They want to move all the campus to the Mill Ridge Road facility. I work with a lot of really smart people in that building from all over the country. Most people transplants. There are a few that are homegrown from here in Central Virginia, but the majority of our employees come from outside into it. And the first questions they ask, because that's right off of Graves Mill Road by Taylor Brothers and Home Depot, is what are they going to do with the infrastructure for 500 more vehicles to go in and out of there every day? So it's kind of a firsthand thing. It's kind of the engineering thing to be problem solvers, and it comes into our thought process that you got to consider all of that whenever it comes into planning and making changes and community improvements and things of that nature.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Baxter.
Hi.
First and foremost, thank you for applying for this position. It seems like you have a well-studied background in engineering and problem solving, so we appreciate your caliber of your intelligence and so forth, to apply for this position. I wanted to know, have you ever served on any other citizen advisory group before, and if so, could you please describe?
Outside of the board of Winton Country Club, which was volunteer, that's the only thing I've served on so far.
All right, that's all I have for you.
Mr. Baxter, are you comfortable in a committee setting dealing with technical as well as, at times, difficult community issues?
Yes, I am. This is something there was a lot of these different opportunities through Winton, getting us through to the sale to Waukesha Development. A few years prior to that sale, we kind of thought there was going to maybe be a retirement community and an assisted living facility brought in there, and it got the hopes up of all the membership and everything, and that didn't materialize. And so we went through a lot, the community that was involved with Winton Country Club over that time. In my career, I've worked in these group settings where there can be really high tense moments when customers want things, and when you got to tell them that they can't be delivered when they want them and things of that nature, and there's a lot of negotiating going on. Cool heads tend to prevail, and you kind of got to take in all the information and, as much as possible, remove emotion from the decision-making process. Look at your pros and cons and weigh the information and make the best decision moving forward.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations on the accomplishments of your daughter. That's exciting.
Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate that.
All right, my question is, are you able to see both sides of a proposal before making judgment on its merits and give an example of your experience with this process?
Yeah, so I think one of the most important responsibilities for the Planning Commission member is to just remain objective and consider all the viewpoints before you're going to make a decision. Got to use logic, weigh the good and the bad of everything, and lead that as a group to make the recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. My example comes from a few years ago. COVID-19 impacted everybody. So Framatome went to remote work in March of 2020. We stayed that way through the end of June of 2021. We didn't miss a beat. So you had all these people working from home, wearing headsets 8 to 10 hours a day, and working from home, engineering. There were manufacturing jobs that had to go in, and they were masked up and everything, and they had to do that both here in Virginia and out in Richland, Washington. And then all of a sudden there was decisions high above that everybody's coming back in the office July 2021. And with no options. And so being in the management structure of the company, middle management, we had the tough task of getting people on board and doing that. And there was a lot of back and forth. And it was 3 or 4 months, and we finally got kind of a happy middle ground, which we saw a lot of the utility customers doing, which was a hybrid work schedule where it was 2 days at home and 3 days in the office. But there was a lot of middle management involvement in making that happen, because there were some really high executives that felt like everybody had to be in person 5 days a week, and everybody had all this extra personal time and more work-life balance when you're not spending time commuting into an office. And so it was a very challenging time, those 3 months from July to September. Unfortunately, we did end up losing some really good people, because there were other companies out there that said you can keep working from home, and hired people away. But so I think that was a time where I spent a lot of time being middle management with direct reports, engineering and things, and working with upper management to get them to see both sides and come to a happy medium in our business unit.
Mr. Baxter, what do you perceive the role and responsibility of the Planning Commission to be?
I think it's an advisory body. It's going to help guide responsible growth and development in the county, review all the proposals fairly, make sure it's consistent. They're consistent with county ordinances. The comprehensive plan, that's something that Tyler mentioned to me, that's going to be due to be revised again, and then make recommendations that protect health, safety, welfare, long-term interests to the residents. The commission's also kind of a bridge between the public, developers, county staff, and the elected officials. So members need to be thoughtful, informed, and impartial. And so we need to balance economic growth with preservation of the county's character and environmental stewardship and the quality of life.
Thank you, sir.
All right, what motivated you to apply for the Planning Commission, and what do you hope to accomplish by your participation?
I applied because I care about the future of the county. I think you all had a really tough few months here after the real estate reassessments and the taxes and everything. And I think there's people on various ends of the spectrum, as we heard earlier tonight from the community speaking. And we need to find a way to balance this out so that we're not in a never-ending cycle. I think the Board of Supervisors protected the residents from tax increases for probably too many years, my personal opinion. But if we don't grow manufacturing and other commercial industries in the county, we're going to be on a cyclical of every 3 years we're going to be raising taxes because everything gets more expensive. Nothing has decreased in price, in the last 5 years. Everything's more expensive. Healthcare's more expensive, and if we want to have good public services and everything else, we need to find a way to keep our perfect slice of Virginia, but still grow the tax basis here as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions or for Mr. Baxter? All right. So I spoke with Mr. Martin because obviously this is his district, and I wanted to make, because what we do, and this is for everybody else, we try to respect each other.
Right.
and the appointees to their respective districts. But I'm not sure if you've had an opportunity to speak with him.
I've not. I know him. My daughter served on as one of the high school kids with the group in that meets in Monroe monthly and that
Gotcha.
for a year or so.
Yep.
So we sat in a couple of times and we've had conversations.
So, just out of respect for him, I spoke with him, and he had absolutely no reservations for holding this appointment up. So, with that being said, that I'll make a motion that we appoint Mr. Robert Baxter to the Planning Commission to represent District 1. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So thank you very much for having the interest in doing this, and I'll be there with you on the Planning Commission.
All right.
So we look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you.
And Mr. Creasy, you'll get Mr. Baxter all squared away? All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Bryant, next, Community Policy and Management Team.
Yes, sir. The board is being asked to appoint a member of the Amherst County Community Policy and Management Team, often called the CPMT. Leslie Sprouse has served in that role. However, with her new responsibilities, she'll be no longer able to serve on the team. The proposed replacement is Jaricia Belford. She is our Accounting Division Manager. She will be maintaining the financial side of the CSA program with the Finance Department, and Tracy Morgan, the Finance Director, as her alternate.
Okay. Fellow board members, any questions or concerns for Mr. Bryant?
I think that's a good selection.
Do you need a motion to, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the board appoint Ms. Janicia Belford as the county representative of the Amherst County Community Policy and Management Team with Tracy Morgan as the alternate.
All right. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. That was it for you from Mr. Bryant, nothing else. So, Mr. Popovich, anything from you?
No, sir.
Yeah, you're boring.
That's what you want in an attorney.
Very true, Ms. Tucker, very true. Mr. Nixon, you're here to present on behalf of Mr. Martin. This is the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Development Board.
Yes, big shoes to fill here for Mr. Martin. Thank you, Board Chairman. Just to give you a little quick update on what Parks and Rec's doing. I'll just start out with, we had our senior social today at the Madison Heights Community Center. Had close to 200 folks out there. And if you go to the Parks and Recreation Facebook page, you'll see a very interesting video.
Very.
I'll let the video speak for itself.
To put it mildly. Very.
It had to do with chickens, but anyway.
Who would have known such a man had such moves?
I tell you what.
Yeah,
I tell you.
it was surprising. I had 911 on my phone in case he threw a hip out or something.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to know, the sheriff was doing a chicken dance with our seniors
We need to
today.
check on him tomorrow, not today.
Yeah. Just to let you know, our park attendants, we have a training tomorrow. We actually will start this weekend, Memorial Weekend, and they'll be working through Labor Day. Also, along with that, y'all approved the funding for the grant for the Paddle Mill Creek Initiative. And we'll be trying to check those out this weekend. I think we've got everything in place, ready to go. And that was part of the training tomorrow with our park attendants on how that's going to work. Coming up here in June, we have the Bateau Festival. On Wednesday, June 17th, the James River Association is providing free bateau rides. I think you have to contact them and possibly even Lynchburg Rec Department to register for that. I was talking to, Rob Campbell, and he said that there'll probably be some free ones where you don't have to register. They'll have boats there that you can actually just get on and go. And then on June 19th, they're having their concert at the new amphitheater in Lynchburg. I'm not sure who they got coming for that. And then on the 20th is the actual launch of the bateaus, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of people there at River Ridge Park and across the river in Lynchburg. And then on Monday, June 22nd, we have a fall prevention workshop. This is for our senior site out at Community Center, Coolwell Community Center. And a group called PT Plus is putting on the workshop, and it starts at 12:30. But at 12 o'clock, we're having an ice cream social. So come on out for that. And my mom's 90 years old and just had a fall not too long ago. So it's a big issue with our seniors, and they're going to provide some good information. Saturday, July 25th, we're having our day in the park out at Mill Creek, and we're working on that. Regina's working on some things there, and we're trying to put that together. It's hopefully be a good event again this year. And I believe that's going to be 11 to 3 on Saturday, July 25th. Also, the advisory board, we had our meeting yesterday evening, actually, and they asked staff to do two things. Back in April of 2022, JoJo Alcock passed away, and she was a longtime member of our board. And nothing was ever really done for her. And it was kind of because Patrick and I were in transition. He was leaving, I was coming on board, and she passed away in April. And so nothing really happened. And so they've asked staff to actually name the Coolwell Community Center room after her and possibly put up a plaque for her in her honor. And then, of course, Tom had, at the last meeting, I believe, asked us to do a resolution for John Mann, who just recently passed away. And he's been on our advisory board since 1993. And, but also the advisory board would like to name the little ball field there at Monroe in honor of John Mann for all the work he did in the, baseball and softball over the years. He umpired, he did a little bit of everything. So, and we're working right now with several folks to get the resolution information so we can hopefully get that done in June for John. So that's where we're at. And a lot of good things. And we're just excited about what's happening, and we're very honored to have Leslie work for us on grants. Every time I turn around, she's creating more work for me, but that's okay. And that's what we do. So, but if y'all got any questions or...
If she's making you work, then she's finding us money, so we're not complaining.
Exactly.
We appreciate Leslie.
Exactly.
So we appreciate you too, Randy. It sounds
thank
like you guys have got a lot of positive things going on.
We really do. We really
And
do.
I know, speaking personally, I appreciate everything you're doing to keep the community involved. Board members, I don't know what y'all think, but based on what Mr. Martin had requested last time about Mr. Mann, I would suggest, I think it would be a nice recommendation that we present a resolution for JoJo as well. I'm not sure if you guys, how you feel about that. So,
Good idea.
so Mr. Bryant, if you could work with Mr. Nixon and Mr. Martin on that, I'd appreciate it. And I think it would be important as well. I think it's very respectful, honorable, and a nice, memorable suggestion to name the room and the ball field after those two individuals. So I'd like to see what we can do to do some sort of formal presentation when we get close to doing both of those things.
Okay.
So, fellow board members, any questions for Mr. Nixon? All right, thank you, Mr. Nixon. All right, next up is the department reports. Octavia, you have the floor again, please, ma'am.
Thank you for letting me speak and give you our annual report from the museum. And thank you so much for the proclamation for our activities for our upcoming anniversary. We'll be doing things throughout the year. We're going to keep it going for a full year as we are the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our 50-year birthday. So I have a few things that I would like to share with you. First, some unfinished business. You will remember when I talked with you in March of last year. I always like to tease you about the Ides of March because it usually hits pretty close. But we moved me to May. This young woman was in our exhibit by the day artist who boarded at the house. And Supervisor Campbell, I know you weren't here at that time, but they, Elizabeth Nottingham Day and her husband, they painted. And this is one of his paintings. And it concerned us that the label, this is at the Mayer Museum at Randolph College, and she was painted by Horace Day, and it just said, one of Tom's, and that sort of bothered us. And, you know, surely she had a name. And this is what happens when you start doing genealogy and research on your families and finding out the history stories. And so we decided we wanted to know who she was. So with hitting Ancestry and Find a Grave and the census, the U.S. Census, we were able to find out that Tom, his last name was Brown, he lived in Culpeper, and he had 14 children. He had 7 girls and 7 boys. So looking at the census, we were able to nail down this young lady as one of 3. One's name was Mary, another's name was Shirley Temple. The father liked to name after different actresses. And so we finally happened through just doing research and continuing that process, we were able to trace through obituaries, several obituaries. We found Tom Brown's, one of his granddaughters. And so she had just an email address. So we emailed her, didn't want to frighten her, like who's asking about, you know, somebody in the family. We explained, we sent a photograph, etc. And we got a phone call, probably not long after we talked in March. And her name is Mary Brown. And she is alive. She turned 91 in June, and she'll be 92 this coming June. And so it was so wonderful to put a name to her as somebody different than one of Tom's. And when we did some tracing, we discovered that Mary lives in Washington, D.C., and since the exhibit was going on, we tried to get her to come. We talked to her and her daughter who lives with her in D.C., and Mary said to us on the phone, I always wondered where that portrait went. She remembered how old she was and when it was painted. So thanks to research, we were able to come up with a name for her, and that was just a great feeling. And we're still in contact with her today. And let's see, I would like to also give you a flyer. And this was put together with our chairman that you just met, Mike Cargill is the chairman of that committee. But to give you some additional reports, we continued the theme of vanishing villages, as Superintendent Mrs. Tucker said. You know, we were doing Clifford was the last one. In fact, Clifford was so large we had to do part 1 and part 2. And we kicked off, as usual, our year with Thomas Jefferson coming, played by Bill Barker, and we had a great attendance for that. And those of you who have been into the Hamble Center know now that we actually have walls and a ceiling and a great PR system now that works for us. And so those programs are still ongoing. We have coming up the Independence Day, which is our usual Colonial Day, and we'll have people signing a Declaration of Independence and a lot of activities going on for that event in August. So if you have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer them for you. I did have one show and tell. Do you have a moment?
Sure.
Okay. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Hogtown and Hogtown 2. Okay, Madison Heights area. These have been very popular books, and for the last 2 years, I have not been able to get these books. And I kept looking around. People were calling and asking for them and mailing in, you know, a check. They wanted one of these, and we were completely out. I went to the publisher, couldn't find them. And so I knew that Charles had a family, and he had passed on, his wife had passed on, and I knew there were 3 children. So just in general conversation, I was talking with the lady, and she said, "Oh, I know that family. I will get you that information." So we were able to get more Hogtown. But as things happen, and they always do at the museum, we had a lady walk in about a week later, and she said, I've got some things that I don't know what to do with them. And so I said, well, show me what you've got. And she said, my uncle was Jimmy Ray, who is the photographer in most of the photos in both books. She brought me 400 or more images. Now, Jimmy had a studio in Madison Heights, and I'm just going to pass these around for you to just take a look at. He took photographs of everything. School kids, classes with the names of the teachers. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not identified. One of our board members, Ellen Craig, started looking through the class photos of the 40s and the 50s, and she found herself in the 3rd grade and again in the 5th grade. So we'll be doing can you identify these people for us pretty soon? But in addition, he had 2 brothers that helped him out, and the brothers were all bachelors, and they lived in a home together. And they had a sister, which is where these came from. The sister had collected and given to her daughter, and her daughter, Debbie Wood, was the person who walked in the door. But he'd also done an image of Ann Spencer in Lynchburg in her garden. And the sister had a talent for coloring the pictures. So the next group you're going to see is her work coloring the photographs for the individuals. So we'll be looking for who these people are. Some of them we do know, like the one in the garden, and Ann Spencer. And the others, we're going to rely on the public, especially in Madison Heights, to help us identify these. And it was just such an exciting thing. We get the books, and then we come up with completely a different day, somebody who has all of these photos. So this is what we do at the museum. We collect and we tell stories. Any other questions?
Well, I'll tell you, it sounds like you guys are pretty good detectives too, so we may have to get you hooked up with Jimmy.
Thanks.
I don't know if I want y'all on my trail or not.
It's amazing what you can find out.
That's very interesting, very interesting.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation, and Mike, very nicely done.
That was Mr. Cargill.
So I appreciate that, very nicely done. So for everybody that's watching on YouTube and in the audience, so they'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary next Saturday, May the 30th,
Coming up
from
fast.
10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please, and come and support the museum, and I'm going to try to make it myself.
Okay.
So, board members, anything else for Octavia?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mike, again, thank you as well. All right, we are back to citizens' comment section. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak to the board in the second round of citizens' comment section? Yes, ma'am. Okay, come on up.
So this is my first time being at something like this, and I was just wondering, as far as like transparency and moving forward, who is the district leader for Kings Road? Is that District 4? So will you be in touch with us, or like, is there anything that you can comment to us? Is this all a rumor? Is there interest of a data center? Are you allowed to comment to me? Like, am I allowed to ask you that? I don't even know, so.
So specifically in the citizens' comment section, we usually don't exchange. If you want to stick around, Mr. Pugh would be more than welcome, I'm assuming, would be willing to speak with you after the meeting. And the reason, not that we don't want to communicate with the public, but if we get to engaging during the citizens' comment section, we could be here for a very long time. So if you want to hang around, we should be wrapping up shortly, and we can talk to you then if you'd like to.
All right.
Ms. Pryor.
I just want to reinforce the work that museum does. For those of y'all that have not been there, Octavia and them do a fantastic job. She is trying to find history for all the communities. So if you have somebody at home that knows something, or if you just want to go and look at what she's got going, and you want to spend a day trying to help her dig out all the information and get it shared, I would suggest you do, because it's a wonderful, wonderful resource for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Mike?
Brings back memories. So I just want to thank you all again. And I'm a resident here in Amherst, live on Kenmore Road, and been in the county for quite a long time. And one of the things that I wanted to address was everyone has stories. And so one of the things that we're actually going to be doing is capturing stories of our residents and those who want to share. So if you're watching on YouTube and you have a story that you would like to tell, get with the museum. We can get you signed up to actually do a recording of this so that this is preserved. Because part of what we do in the museum is we preserve history. And we want to make sure that those stories don't fade, and we want to make sure that the folks, our future generations, our children, our grandchildren, and those to come after will know what we're going through, just like we are trying to preserve what our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and those who came before us. But with that, I just want to say thank you, and if you do have a chance, please stop by and on the 30th between 10 and 4 and come visit us. Okay?
Thank you, Mike, very
Thank you.
much. Anyone else wishing to speak to the board in citizens' comment section? Anyone? Yes, ma'am. Just give us your name, ma'am, and your address, please.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm Lynn Cable. I live at 156 Patrick Henry Highway. I've lived there since 2001. I'm working with the museum on the 50th Anniversary Committee, and we also there is a program on June 7th, which is about the Coolwell neighborhood. It's going to be from 2:30 to 4, and it's going to be, the presenters are going to be Crystal Rawson, who I'm sure you all know very well, and Dr. Lynn Rainville, who used to be the dean over at Sweetbriar. So it should be really an interesting program. Also, I was given to give to the Monacan Museum and to the Amherst County Museum an image of Karen Wood, who worked with Chief Diane Shields in getting the Monacan Nation approved on the state level and on the federal level. And the image was framed, and we're going to have it at both museums, celebrating her life and what she was able to do for the Monacans and for Amherst County. So I just wanted to let you know. It came from Virginia Humanities from the Folklife Division. She was the head of the American Indian Program until 2018. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Cable. Thank you for your help with the museum, too. Anyone else wishing to speak during the citizens' comment section? All right, seeing none, we're going to close citizens' comment section. On to matters from the board. Ms. Tucker.
Two things. One, did we note in the beginning that Mr. Martin was not here?
I failed to do that, Ms. Tucker.
Yeah, so let's make sure we get that in the
We
minutes.
can get that notated.
Second thing, Jeremy, if you could make sure that we've got an extra trash can at Mill Creek Lake in between the beach and when you come to where they park cars. There's been a lot of trash there that we've picked up because there's just not a trash can over on that side. Thank you.
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Chairman, I have a few things.
Okay.
First, I'd like to address that Hogtown book 1 and 2. It's a good read. I recommend it. It's got a lot of history on the people and old Madison Heights, Old Town, and a lot of people that grew up there. Mr. Stinson is one of them. And this neighborhood is also part of our comprehensive plan for the last 15, 20 years. The other thing is, last meeting, I brought up some legislation for discount on early tax payments for the citizens. It's 15.2-1201.2, discount for early payment of taxes. I'd like to see that on a future agenda for discussion. And also, the other thing is, we've heard from the people here tonight on this data center. Myself, I've spoken to a few of you about how I feel about these things, and I would like that also to be on a future agenda for possible discussion on making it a special exception. That would give the board in the future any power over what happens and how it happens, instead of just making it a by right where they can come in and do what they want as they please.
Okay. Mr. Bryant, you got all of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Mr. Pugh.
Yeah, I'll echo what Mr. Campbell had to say. That land is in my district. It's not that far from where I live as the crow flies. Jeremy, and I hate to put you on the spot, but if you could just bring people up to date on how that land was acquired, how long it has been zoned industry, what exactly is going on there with the clearing of the land at this point, what the EDA is doing, and so forth. If you could just give a synopsis on that, so for information, at least a little bit, and we can certainly talk about it more at another meeting, but I do support making it a special exception. I think that the data centers, the more you learn about them, you realize they do suck up all your water from your public utilities. As far as, and people that live around them, I mean, of course, if it was in my backyard or if it was in your district or another district, you would have similar feelings most likely because it would affect your constituents. Of course, it affects all us because we're all in Amherst County. But I do support looking at it as a by right because, as Mr. Baxter said earlier tonight, I mean, there is a fine line between having enough industry to support your tax base in a community and some growth versus, you know, pushing that out and then you're just constantly asking for more and more taxes on the residents. So there is a line that we have to draw at this board. We have to weigh the pros and the cons. And regardless of that property, it could be anything. It could be a manufacturing facility, and it would cause a lot of people not to like that as well. You know, there's no real happy median. It's always going to be somewhat affected by any potential growth, whether it be a subdivision that's moving in next door to you after you've had privacy for 15 years. There's always, somebody will always be affected. But we as a board have to weigh that and determine what exactly helps the county as a whole the most. And that's what I try to do. But as Mr. Campbell said, I do support, you know, looking at that, and I support making it a special exception because at least that gives the people in the community and surrounding an opportunity to voice their concerns with it and what's going on.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
And while I support what Mr. Pugh and Mr. Campbell have both said, I think that right now we have put Mr. Bryant on the spot without a lot of preparation, nor do we have a lot of people here in the audience. If we're going to do such a thing, I would suggest that we put it on an agenda and have everybody prepared.
Well,
That was
and
my
that's, Ms. Tucker, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I was going to make a suggestion as well, because I think for complete transparency, I think, quite a few of the members of the audience brought up tonight, a lot of folks don't understand the difference between the composition or the structure of the EDA versus the board of supervisors. And again, I know people, even my wife included, says I talk a lot, but information and education is the key to success. And the one thing as my wife has to tell me to step away from the phone when she says she knows when I'm in a battle on Facebook. She said I get this look in my eye, and she tells me to put my phone down. But the amount of misinformation that is out on social media is absolutely out of control. But that's why I get on Facebook, and I know Ms. Tucker does on a regular basis as well, is not to get into arguments, but to provide information. Social media is a great platform, tremendous platform if we use it correctly. But the only way we can use it correctly is get the correct information out to the people. And the people is our best educators, right? So I'm with all of you guys. Mr. Pugh, if you're okay with that, if we can plan for like in the really near future, to have if nothing else, it may be, I don't know what y'all's opinion is, and Mr. Martin's not here, but whether we even set up a special meeting for a question and answer session. I don't know, but I think it's paramount.
Well, yeah, my only reasoning for asking Mr. Bryant for just a brief synopsis, because, you know, very well myself will get peppered with questions about what exactly is happening, why is that being cleared, what is going on here. And from my understanding, the little bit that I know is the EDA is clearing land on that spot for potential economic development opportunities. The state of Virginia had a grant with us, and we purchased that property. And we've went through several grant processes to look at that property for potential development for sites for industrial development. And that's where it's at. I mean, that's what I know.
And I think to add on to that, Mr. Pugh, is the clearing of the timber, that was a condition of the sale of the property.
Right.
That was in the works before we even closed, or the county or the EDA even closed on that piece of property. So it has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's currently in the works. So that's one thing that we can easily clear up tonight as far as the timber clearing of the property. That was a condition of the sale of the property. So we can answer that.
And that property has been zoned industrial for years and years.
Since 2016, is that correct?
Before that.
Oh, before then, okay. So, anything else, Mr. Pugh, as far as direct, whether we can all do a quick question and answer or clear up any other, or Mr. Bryant, is there anything else you want to? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I'm
either,
happy to
but-
answer questions. I'm not sure what to answer now at this point.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, I mean, that's what I know as a member of the board of what's been going on. This has been going through the EDA. We've gotten several grants to look at that property. There's really no, infrastructure available at this point, or money available to do anything with it. So as of this point, it's just timbering of the land contingent upon the contract from the state of Virginia.
And they're still marketing the property, obviously, for economic development. So, how do you guys and gals have any suggestions moving forward? Do you want to, or do you want to wait till Mr. Martin is here at the next meeting to where we discuss as a whole whether we want to set up a special? Because I do feel, because the EDA is they're the spear carriers with this, right? So they need to be a part of this. But again, I think it's good for us to be able to provide any information and transparency to the community as we possibly can. Any other suggestions?
Well, I would assume, if you'd want a 5-member board to make that determination of whether or not, as far as what Frank and I talked about, that would have to go before the planning commission.
Absolutely,
And
that's
then
right.
the planning commission will make a determination and bring it to this board, and that's the way that it would operate. But, it takes 3 people, to make that determination on this board to move it. So we can wait if we don't have 3 people at this point in time to do that.
Well, I'm not one to belabor anything, but I also think something of this magnitude that I would like for all 5 of us to be present in making that decision.
And make a decision to,
Well, whether we want to take and put that task before the planning commission. Is that what you guys are potentially suggesting?
I would like it on an agenda for discussion. If
Okay.
that's what we need to do, then we'll discuss it and we'll move
Well,
forward.
that's what I'm
then.
saying. We
Yeah.
can put it on an agenda for us to discuss, and if
Right.
we make the determination to send it to the planning commission, we can do that.
Both issues I brought up, that's what I want to see done. I want it on a future agenda for discussion, so
Okay.
this board then decide how to take action
All right,
on it.
so, Mr. Bryant, clear as mud?
Got it.
All right. Hopefully, we can potentially get that done for the first meeting in June, all right? Mr. Pugh, anything else?
That would be all.
All right, and I have nothing. So, with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.